Bum 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 bum. Yeah, all right, people. Let's rock and roll. Yeah. Who is it in here that would like to see today's show? Let's see. Well, for those of you early arrivals, I want to say hello. And I got to say that today was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. The weather was gorgeous. But, but, there is one thing which I bet most of you don't think, or at least I don't know. You know, there is a bridge over to Denmark, and it's beautiful, beautiful bridge. I think quite a lot of you have seen my own videos about this bridge. I'm gonna show you those videos by sharing a screen. Hello there, Nate Dog. Nice to see you. And I will show you how it is to share um, those videos so that you can see for yourself on my channel where they are, and you can research this subject a little bit more, so to speak, visually. One moment, please. There was a wonderful, wonderful celebration of this bridge, and if you want to see this bridge in more perfect sort of location and more perfect view, I am putting it up right now for you. There we go, share screen, and I hope that you can write to me if you are seeing it, okay? So now, there we go. Can you people see the bridge? Please do tell me, do you see the bridge, okay? Can you see the bridge on this picture? That is it. That is the wonderful, wonderful bridge of Öresund. It's huge. It stretches on for miles and miles and miles, and it tops at 206 meters. And it's beautiful, beautiful creation. But one thing that happened today, and I don't even know what to say. The queue from Sweden to Denmark, it was huge. It was absolutely incredible. So I hope that you will stay while we will look together and see what is it that they have got to say to us. What is it that they got to say to us in different kinds of web outlets and such? Why? What happened? Because it was incredible. The queue went on for many, many, many miles, kilometers, whatever you want, and it took hours. So I'm gonna be right in front of you right now, and I'm gonna Google bridge Sweden to Denmark. Yeah, what happened today? So what does it say? It's just explaining, blah blah blah. And there you can see some more gorgeous pictures of the bridge. But it so far I do not see what was it that happened today. So I am putting on past 24 hours, and let's see. Yes, kilometer long queues on the Öresund bridge towards Denmark. On Saturday, Denmark opened the border to all Swedes on the Öresund bridge. There were occasionally kilometer long queues, and that is the website Telereport that is saying this to us. And I can tell you that this situation is extremely unnormal, and the situation is quite uncommon. It's very, very unusual, and the way it has been handled, it was a lot less than perfect. So, if you want to have my say, I would say stay in Sweden for now if you want to travel in the middle of the day. If you want to travel in the middle of the day, then stay. Don't go. If you want to go, go either in the morning or in the late evening, or at least in the late afternoon, because that's when it's about to normalize. They say that it is partly because Swedes didn't have to stay, they could go to Denmark. So the corona, Denmark have lifted its corona sanctions because before Sweden is free. We don't have any of this sort of, restrictions and anything. It's absolutely bare minimal, and people are absolutely roaming free, having lots of fun, drinking everywhere, bars, all this stuff. It was open, and I have a gazillion videos on my channel where you can see that people just did not care. They had lots and lots of fun. But, but, uh, so Denmark, it decided that no, that is not the way they want to go. So they shut down. They shut down uh, pretty much all forms of traffic unless you were working, in Denmark. And when you say that most of Swedish people want to stay, they want to stay if they're not let in into Denmark. But once there is a possibility to travel, of course, just millions of people want to go, especially since the faraway travel is now even more restricted. So there were a lot of Swedish people on the bridge. There were some Danish. Most, I would say, that was, of course, overrepresented. It's people who have some kind of family on either side of the bridge, or people who have, a lot of friends, people from somewhere that is pretty close, because it's basically two sides of one region now. And this bridge is absolutely vital, and it has been more or less shut down. And now it's open up, and there are huge lines. But you know who else there were? I am telling you what I saw with my own eyes. There were Romanians. So I would presume that they were working over here in Sweden, and some of them decided to go home pretty early or really soon, because it is, not time to be going home normally, because a lot of them work in agriculture and stuff like that. But no, for some reason there was a huge Romanian bus with a lot of Romanians in it. They were Germans. There were a lot of Germans. There were a lot of Germans on that bridge. And I've seen some videos of Germans going into mountainous areas of Sweden. And you know what the great thing was? When they meet the reporter and they ask, "How is your experience? How do you experience mountains in Sweden?" And they go like, "You know what? We were in the mountains in Sweden, and we didn't meet other Germans. We were camping, but we didn't meet other Germans." Can you imagine? So one of the key experiences for Germans in Sweden, even like really far away from the border where they choose to stay, is that they didn't see any Germans on their way when they were in the mountains. There are, of course, a lot of Germans closer to the border. Yeah, that was hilarious. Anyway, so if you want to go, then during the middle of the day, stay. And if you want to go anyway, you go in the evening or in the morning. And like I said, a lot of Swedish people traveling, but also quite a lot of Romanians, quite a lot of Germans, also some Polish, some Slovak people, and other people from Eastern Europe. One more thing, which I saw with my own eyes. I don't know what was going on, but on the side, like not a sidewalk, but like if you have main lanes, main files on the side, there is like some sort of emergency lane or whatever you call it. And there were some vehicles which were going sort of using this lane, the emergency lane, and they had those, like crosses, like lamps with crosses. So, yeah, and they were going there. So I don't know what was going on, but I had a feeling that either there were some traffic situation, or I don't know, maybe there could have been some situations where they were trying to, I don't know, catch some people or something like this. Because what I saw on the bridge today, actually not on the bridge itself, but on the island, there's like an island. If you come down from the bridge, there's a bridge from Sweden, then there's a tiny man-made island called Pepper Island. And on that island, now they've set up a temporary checkpoint. Knock on wood. I hope it's temporary. But anyway, so there, I saw some military, because normally it's either police or it is customs. But today I actually saw some military directing traffic and things like that. So I don't know what happened. But yeah, I very much hope that that checkpoint is not there to stay, because it's one of the key things, this feeling of freedom, this woo, you take off, you come from Sweden, you start in Sweden, and then there is this bridge going up, 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 and you feel euphoria, up, 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 and euphoria. You have this great feeling. It's fantastic. You just push the pedal to the metal, and you feel like you're flying away. Awesome. Absolutely awesome feeling. And I wish to everybody that you could experience this at least once in your life. And then you go normally, you first you go up, and then it starts to sort of let out a little bit. And once you're there are those huge pylons of the bridge, which go a little bit like like this. And then you drive through those pylons, and you have them on top of you, and you feel like your vehicle is penetrating right through that invisible you know border, and you are going in all the way. And I'm I'm the one to say it's awesome. I really wish. And then the view, you can see Copenhagen, and it's beautiful view. I'm telling you, it's beautiful view. You can see it, sort of like an entire panorama. And the same way when you're going back, if you want to stay in Sweden, you drive, and from the bridge you can see fantastic, absolutely fantastic view of Malmo, Sweden. And it really, it makes you feel like your soul is flying away. Like you're lifting off, and it's such an amazing experience. And then normally when you come down from this, actually, from this literal high, because you were a bit high in the sky, and you come down from it, and also maybe emotionally you come down a little bit, but you don't want to go down all the way deep into depression. But it's actually true. That's what you have to do. Because as it is right now, the way it is right now, is that there is like a post. They've created a temporary border post, and you have to go down. You have to go down. So first there is a bridge. You come down from the bridge, and normally you would proceed on road, which is more or less flat. But now, instead of it, you have to go further down off the bridge, and you sort of take off the bridge and go into this zone where they have border control. And it really, really takes you down. It literally, you have normally this beautiful sky, beautiful skyline, beautiful sea, boats, a lot of things to see. You experience it, it's wonderful. And then from that emotional and physical high from this view, you come to the road, and then you have to plummet into this sort of place where they ask you all kinds of things, and they might even search through your vehicle or whatever it is. It's not comfy, it's not cozy, it's not Scandinavian, because Scandinavia, it's about freedom, it's about coziness, about this feeling of safety, dignity, and things like that. And that's none of it. So I hope that this checkpoint is about to go. I hope it. But regardless, now that there is this checkpoint, it's pretty much for Corona, but most of people now from Sweden are allowed through. You have only one sort of limit, and I think it is that if you're coming from Sweden, you have to self quarantine, I think, for some days or something like this. But if you're coming from provinces that are on the border, like Skåne, then you can come straight through. Anyway, there was another subject that I wanted to take up today, because it's, I don't know, maybe I'll take it in another sort of show. I don't know, but you will have to tell me whether it's something that sort of rings your bell, whether it's something that you want to hear more about, and things like that. And that's jail. Jail, jailhouse in Sweden. So for quite a while we have had this situation, that it is not new to me, but maybe some of you were able to see that before. There was even talk that a lot of jails have to shut down because we have just way more jail spaces than we have people to jail. Because prior to, let's say, 2015, it was really going down and everything was quiet. And then we have this wave of criminality and some drugs and things like that, and it has gone up. And then the government decided to screw a little bit, to sort of use the wrench and tighten the screws on the system. And now there are a lot more people sentenced, and they have to, do their time. And the question is, many people say that jails in Sweden are too nice. Okay? Now think about it twice. Think about it. When you put somebody in jail, do you think that the person should be there in crappy conditions? Do you think that the conditions in jail should be bad? Or do you think that being in jail is punishment enough and conditions should be good? Now, let me know what you think about this. I'll tell you where I stay on this. In my personal opinion, we do not sentence people to sickness, for example, right? We don't send people to, it is not part of their sentence that they should become sick. We're not sentencing them to disease, right? We may sentence them to time, and in some countries they even sentence them to some corporal punishment. And in some countries, like in America, you can even be sentenced to death, right? You can be killed. But as far as I know, there is not even one country on earth where the punishment is to make people sick, right? And as it stands right now, if the conditions in general in prison are bad, if it's crowded, not enough place, if it's a not good hygienic place, then you are literally sentencing person to disease. So I want to know, tell me please, do you think it is fair to sentence people to disease? Because in my opinion, that's what is effectively happening. Like, For example, it's pretty much impossible, you know, if you make somebody stay and then you think that somehow this disease it will go away. No, no, it won't. It will not go away. The disease will not disappear, and it is very, very largely spread in jailhouses and all kinds of places, incarceration, all kinds of stuff like that. And I want to see what you think about this. I want to know your opinions, like always. Whether you think that it's cramped conditions, whether it should be like some very limited number of toilets and things like that, or whether people should have more or less decent living conditions when they are in jail. Okay, that's what I want to know from you too. So um, I want to know how is the traffic in your places, whether you're experiencing that it's good or bad, or now because of the corona, maybe in some places there are less trains. So despite fewer people, the congestion is getting much more because there are like less trains, less buses, and less things like that. So one thing, because of corona, is your traffic better or worse? And second thing I want to know, it is, and you please tell me, please, whether you think that jail, it should be crammed up, bad conditions, effectively, whether it's okay to sentence people to disease today. I mean, you heard my opinion, but you might have yours, and I want to hear about it. Now, there is this also a small situation with those so-called no-go zones. Okay, I don't know if you heard about it or no, but in Sweden there are some places which more or less officially are called places for no-go. Well, okay, it's Swedish media which have been using this term, and officially it's called socially hazardous area or something like this. Like there is some other name, but even Swedish press is using this name, so they call them no-go zones. So there are like I think 53 of those places in entire Sweden, and there are a couple in Malmö. And then one thing that I want to know: is there some places like this where you live? Is there some places where you cannot go? Is there some place where you would say, no, I cannot go there? Okay, because basically it's unsafe. I don't know. You tell me. But in our city, you see, it is turning around slowly, slowly, slowly. And mark my words, I'm not saying to anybody that you know we have totally turned it around, but and also I do not think that all of it it's because of this huge wave of migrants which we had, but clearly some of those people have had a very difficult time of finding a job, finding a new identity, integrating into society. So we have a bit of problems with that. Okay, let's be fair, let's admit we have a bit of problem with that, and Malmo is especially prone to that because you know we have about half of our population have so-called migrant background, or they're either migrants themselves or their kids who have two parents who are migrants. That's what they call people with migrant background, and I think we have 46%. So basically half of people are migrants in the city where I come from. And we have some difficulties with this, but now because of corona, this huge wave that we had before, and now then it has been going down over the years, and now it has completely almost stopped. So the migration has almost completely stopped, and the things have come down a lot. the things have absolutely sort of uh, you know become much more sane, so to speak, much more cool, much more relaxed, because it's as if the city, the country is somehow is able to observe, absorb those people who have difficulties. So it's like, you know, I would say that to a certain degree, there is some number of people which could be observed by country anyway. So up to a certain level, there is not a lot of problems, and then you have some level where it's a little bit difficulty, and then there is sometimes, like in 2015, it was absolutely through the roof. It was the time when the refugees had those huge train of people, huge sort of lines of people, where there was thousands, if not tens of thousands, in one of those lines. And then there were coming millions and millions of people to Europe, and we were experiencing, let's put it frankly, we were experiencing some difficulties with it. We didn't even know where to place those people. Some of them were sleeping on the train station. I have seen some of those people outside of the office of migration and things like that on the mattresses, and it was, I think, like October or November. It was cold anyway, and most of those people were allowed to stay, and we had some difficulty in 2015, and then the number started to drop off in 2016, and it was lowering, and then I think about 30,000 in 2019. So 160,000, and then lower, and then I think we were at around 30 somewhere, something like this. And now we've gone even under that. So now we are under the level which used to be normal for Sweden before. And you can clearly see that some of those difficulties, some of those problems are dissolving, or sort of the things are becoming a bit more normalized. And how should I say? Of course, no go area, in my opinion, is no safe place to stay. I wouldn't go there if I was a tourist anyway. That's just my opinion. I would not go to a no go zone, but there sort of there are all kinds of shades of gray, so to speak, to quote a famous movie. And if let's say somewhere there in like 2016, 2017, situation was filled with very compact, very dark gray, and we didn't know at all how it would go and where those people would stay, and a lot of problems, and there was quite a lot of criminality even like a year or two ago. But now it has started to come down, and part of the reason for why it's coming down, it's because there are much less drugs. There are also less and less drugs, because simply the flow of people through the bridge, uh, they cut it because of corona, and that was one of the main reasons why the drug traffic has slowed down, and a lot of people actually started to come off drugs. They started to use some sort of substitute medical substances, which sort of doctor would prescribe to them, those substances that don't create those enormous like addictions. So it's basically like there are some medical substances which doctor can prescribe to addicts, so that they start to get lower and lower in their addictions, and they could become more and more normal. And that has been actually happening quite frequently. I think one of those things is called antabus or something like this, and basically people take it so they don't get those huge cravings for drugs. And it has been going better and better, and I'm quite impressed. I have to say that It is really, really nice that there is some system for how those people could be kind of like brought back, one might say, or something like this. And in my opinion, it is in a way, of course, I, I'm very sorry for people who have died, and I pray for people who are sick that they can stay around, like in this world and everything. But um, when it comes to a number of people who are addicts and also the criminal activity, this corona thing has been clearly good because there are more and more people who are coming off drugs, and there is less and less drug trafficking, and that of course makes the situation overall better with criminality. Well, anyway, it was a pleasure for me that there was so many of you who decided to stay, and it was very nice seeing you. So we had two questions today, which I want to know. And number one is, how is the traffic in your city due to Corona? Is it getting better or worse, or how is it going? And the second question, what about jails? What about jails? What about jails in Sweden? Do you think that jail should be like a really, really bad place inside, that there should be like a really cramped conditions, really unsanitary and things like that? Or do you think that it should be more or less like livable spaces? Okay. Okay. All right, people. It was very nice seeing you, and I hope you will go on and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And happy life.